There we go. I need to get an automated way. I need to set that up on automation. Like I said, what I'm hoping for doing this is to save myself freaking time when rendering the videos for YouTube, as well as in the 1 9-hour block, I now have some very rough cuts where it was hard to tell when to cut it because I'd be in the middle of a conversation. So I'd end up like an hour and 20-minute long thing into 40, you know. So if I just remember to stop it, that means I'm not in the middle of a conversation. And it's already pre-cut for me. I just trim in the edges a little bit, make it sensible. As I was saying, it is only 9 o'clock. We've done a little more than I kind of thought we would. Well, I'm sorry, that's wrong. We've not done more than I thought we would. We've gotten this done a little faster than I thought we would. I thought there had been a lot more things and interruptions. Speaking of interruptions, and someone brought this up a little bit earlier, why haven't I gotten a major one so far in this stream? I'm due. I am a little bit due for an interruption. Mm-hmm. 2, 1. 2, 1. 2. Oh, that one switched it to ash. All right, let those get built. And then stocks, rears and longs. I only have a couple of them. I don't need to do a purge again. That was a real good script though. I'm real glad that is just a thing you have. Okay, that's another one that they need to advertise. You need to advertise the fuck out of that script. For anyone who wasn't here for that, we freed up quite a lot. We freed up some frames per seconds and some frames, and we made it be a lot more variable. Like it seems to climb higher now, because in not the latest Dwarf Fortress, that was a couple days ago, but a few days before that, the latest DF hack introduced const fix, destroy const. Hold on, what was that code? Clean const, which takes all of the materials that are in your constructions and removes them from the game so it doesn't have to calculate it. Because the way the walls work, there are 2 things keeping track of the walls. You only really need one of them. So clean const actually removes one of them, which is amazing. Wall, 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 wall. And it freed up like 17,000 calculations, which is not nothing. I mean, we haven't claimed back all of our frames, and if I'm up here staring at the dwarves moving, we start lowering towards 38. But before I did it, we were at like, what, 34, 33? So it freed up 4 frames up here, and then when we're down here, we occasionally start going back up like pro 40. Yeah, so that's good. That's really useful. We can save ourselves. We can, if the game goes faster, the shorter everything takes. Less time we have to wait. By the way, what is going on over here? Why have you not been dug? We need you to be dug. They're my mine kings. They're storing items in stockpiles. Well, it's a good thing that you're here to store items in stockpiles and not, you know, mine things. Jackasses, every one of them. All right, make sure we're all still good over here. Haven't missed anything. No activities that I didn't thank people for. All right. Cancel sleep grieving. Shut up. I need to think. Hold on, how do we only have 57? We only have 57 people? We've gone down in numbers. We've had a lot of people die, huh? That's not good. 57 dwarves and 160 not dwarves. Fantastic. Animals. What do we have? Something is wrong. We don't have a butcher. We lost a butcher at some point, and our animals, despite being told to be killed, aren't getting killed. You are now a butcher. That's going to free us up, what, 80? 80 freaking creatures? 14, 26, 25, 51, 60, 71, 77 creatures. We're about to purge off this map. That'll probably help. If 150 and 77 have been waiting to get killed. Jesus Christ. Hopefully we can absorb that meat into our industry. Oh. Did you do the thing yet? You did not do the thing yet. Why have you not done the thing yet? We're waiting on you to do the thing. My miners are acting like they can't reach. This should, even at 2, this should have taken priority. Why are you acting like you can't reach? Oh, there goes the herbalist. You just need to find a way to start like getting people in the fewer and fewer beds so we can track down this vampire. Okay, something's wrong. They're acting like they can't make it. Why can't they make it? They should be able to make it. What if I say over here? You should be able to go down any of those ramps. Now they updated and they say they can do the other one. Fantastic. Makes perfect sense. 10 out of 10. Still alive. Still alive. Still alive. Yes. That's how to confirm it. We've had a few ghost deaths. You might have died in the game, just not known yet. Come on. Go down to 1. Huzzah. Has created the masterpiece rope reed trousers. Rope reed trousers. Oh, that was way too much. When did that get set up that high? That was supposed to sound like Zordon, or did I click the wrong button?
Rope reed trousers. There we go.
Let me just deafen everyone. Thank you guys for watching me. Just let me surprise you real quick and deafen you, and if you're in a quiet room, wake up anyone who's sleeping near you. I'm a jackass. We ordered this to be built, right? All right, good. Fuck it, I'm gonna ignore him for now. Back up top. You know, I tried to appease myself with the knowledge of every new row must be, every new layer must be smaller, or must be the same or smaller than the layer before it. And yet, fuck me. Why is there a wall there of all places? Shouldn't have been up there. Oh, this was a 2. It was a 2. What? What?
Oh no. Oh no. They can't hear me.
I'm about to say, I killed you earlier. We killed someone earlier. You're still alive, Sirlac. I forget who it was. Someone died earlier under mysterious circumstances. Don't you bark at me. All right, if I do you windowed. All right, hold on. I want to QE. Left, up, down. Wait, something's wrong here. I didn't do right. Right. Let's see if that'll work now. I really didn't like what it did before, where it somehow changed to the arrows, and that was annoying to me. I just wanted to get a quick view. We're not allowed to see anything, I guess. There we go. Or nah. Where is the game? Well, it looks like it's trying. All right, we're starting to get things now. You gonna render for me, baby? There we go. I don't know why it takes so long to render. We're making good progress. Like I said, admittedly, this looks garbage because we can tell difference in the woods here. But I mean, when we get to gold and we start switching this out with the gold, this is gonna look fantastic. At the very least, we already did the inverted triangle. Ooh. At the very least, we already did the inverted triangle with stone that I'm forgetting the type of right now. So that looks like the right color. It's less we're gonna have to fix later on. Wonder, does this show like the horrendous blood? No, it doesn't. Doesn't show the elven blood raining from the sky to contaminate the world. Oh, it does on the shore though. It does underwater. That's fantastic. These trees are a little too tall. Look at those stupid wheels. Trying to get to render the layer below them. Here we go. That's really it. That right there generates 2,000 units of water. As stupid as that sounds. It's amazing sometimes. It really is. I might have done it bad. And the game forgives me. How do you have cave adaptation to the point of throwing up when everything counts as above ground? What doesn't count as above ground, you frickin' troglodyte? You've been like below ground? What were you doing down there? Everything is above ground. How did you get cave adaptation? That takes a special level of skill to get cave adaptation in this base. I have the entire thing set up to prevent cave adaptation, and this jackass gets cave adaptation. Fan-freaking-tastic. 10 out of 10. Smartest dwarf ever. Give him beard of the century. And what is all these? Are these broken clothes? These are all clothes that are decent. They're all actually pretty decent. So the only thing I could be missing would be trousers. While we wait for him to do the wall. Sort by nothing. Show me the worst equipment. No, that trouser is the only one that was missing something. We are ahead of schedule. They want some leather things. Leather boot. Flask. I can do that, no problem. Where is boot? Boot. Flask is a water skin, so water skin. Armor. There you go, leather worker will figure it out eventually. How is this going? Construction nearly done. We are so close to one whole wall. We only have... Real problem is, whenever I do any of these things with a certain shape or design in mind, why do I always make them so effing big? I mean, it worked with that top triangle for the bedrooms, but do we need this to really be this big? Is there a point where, you know, a project can be too dwarfy? Too unnecessarily dwarfy. The dwarfsmanship needs to be lowered a bit. Boom, 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 boom. Come on, finish this wall. Thank you. And now we go for the last thing over here. Like, I kind of legit just want to bring that straight across. Just set up like 9 of them, bring it straight across, and then go up and then take out this square. It wouldn't get us much. I mean, like, we'd have a square, but at the end of the day, we just now have an open square. Like, it wouldn't sort us a lot of time. So at the end of this, we're gonna have to scoop out the freaking cream filling, so to speak, anyways. I feel like it'd be extra micro to scoop out some of the filling now, and then cause headaches later on because we won't have the floor anymore with which to put the freaking screw pumps to do the green filling later. Has come. Now I did a cutoff at 9, I think. We just weren't to the season. See, and down here, friggin' the frames per second are screaming. Question though, why is it locked to 50 and not 60? It's not gonna change now, but I think I would have loved that to have been at 60, not 50. I keep track of that. Because I mean, if I could have had that in me, I would have rather have had that in me. You're staring down here trying to babysit this. That would make it go faster. Matter of fact, hold on. Hold on, guys. Man, whatever. Save the game from here. I'm going to try to relaunch it and see if I can get up to the 60. I don't know why the max was at 50. 12-ish Daft. No. We were talking about the Dwarf Fortress that released 2 days ago where they edited werewolves, aquifers, and all that good jazz. It is not the new version because I am also here for people to learn the game if they have questions. So I'm doing everything off of Lazy New Pack, and Lazy New Pack is not updated. Or at the very least, it wasn't updated before I started the stream. Yeah, 60. Everyone loves a good 60. Yes. Nope, as soon as... I'd about to say as soon as I can, but no, that would still be wrong. We've invested a lot of time into this Triforce base. The next base I do will be post-Villains update. If I could get a new version, then I would. Well, no, it's just because it's how much we put into this, and then this wouldn't necessarily be compatible. Though I do believe we'd be making a lot more progress. Soon.
Soon.
Alright, so that one got finished. Then we need to set this up for 2. I don't need to be going so high anymore, now that I think about it. So why am I bringing this way far up? It's not what we need to do anymore. Or is it? This is what we need to be doing. Never mind. We're doing this because that part does have to go that high. That can be removed in order to reach the aquifer line we already have. Is Triforce freehand designated or with quick for it? The Triforce is freehand designated. That's why there's extra line down here was from the early math. Though that being said, while the Triforce is hand drawn, the calculation for what the ratio should be was done with a calculator, like an actual calculator. Because in order for it to be an equilateral triangle, the height needed to be, I'm forgetting the number right now, but it was like 78 or 88.7 something percent the width. So in order to bring that out, went with the width of the triangle, how high it needed to be, and then figured out how to get the line to exactly end where it needed to be. Thank you. Because not only did I need it to be, I needed to do equilateral triangles and equilateral triangles. It's like with ogres. Equilateral triangles have layers. In order to do the Triforce, this is slowly going up so it can be a three-dimensional Triforce, which will have 4, I admit. So that either of the 3 sides will look like they have a Triforce in it. In order to do this, though, I kind of needed the... How do I describe this correctly? We have an equilateral triangle here. That's one solid equilateral triangle. But if you look, it is made of 3 equilateral triangles that each have 3 squares gap between them because they needed to be together perfectly like the Triforce. So it is an equilateral triangle made of equilateral triangles that is contained in a moat that is an equilateral triangle. It also needed to be able to do that correctly so that as I went up in Z levels, I could do an inverse of the triangle going up, because the white area needs to be getting wider so that when you do the three-dimensional equilateral triangle, it still looks correctly, the gap between the triangles. And I had to put in 3 meeting halls, a tavern, a library, and a temple. And I took one of the Triforces and Triforce the Triforce to create 3 equilateral triangles in one of the equilateral triangles in the equilateral triangle so that it could have 3 even meeting hall areas. Yes. And then I did the bedrooms and we just crammed them into a slightly smaller equilateral triangle, which we subdivided into rooms. I come up with some weird shit. The only problem is with my methodology, the only real problem is sometimes, especially there are things like aquifers, it takes a while to build since it's all constructed. I had a previous base that was, it's one of the nicer ones I've done on stream, if I do say so myself, was the Hanging Gardens, which is I dug out a perfect circle. And I admit for that one, I didn't do the math myself completely. I did do dig circle for a lot of the bigger circles, where I dug out a gigantic 96 radius circle. So basically about half the freaking volume of the map, where I dug that down, including interrupting a river. And then I built a floating castle in the giant hole I dug, and the river fed into the castle to form moats around the central castle and all the little minor towers, like the minor wizard towers and shit. That one, I think we ended up losing to, was it corruption or was it lag? Either way, we have now learned about the construction fix command. So if it was lag, we could have fixed it now, which is kind of a bummer. That one was circles. I tend to like doing everything with circles. For this base, I was told by the viewers that they would like to see a different shape. I think mostly to see if I could. And so the shape given was a triangle. And of course, if you're going to do a triangle into our fortress, you might as well go big or go home. And we went with Triforce. Because if we're going to do a triangle, we need to do as many triangles as possible. Construction wall. And that is what we're doing right now. The inner inverse triangle of the Triforce is supposed to end up being a pit that goes about as deep as we can, but definitely try to see if we can get it at least to a magma layer. So that is what we're kind of doing right now, because the top 2 layers of dirt here are aquifer. We have 2 layers of aquifer And on the right, we might have upwards of 5 or 6 because there is a slight elevational difference in the layers, I guess, for some reason. So we are sitting here and we are square by square drawing the perimeter of the inverse triangle and making sure that there's no water. And then when that's done, we are going to channel out all the dirt in the middle because you can just channel that from above and that gets rid of the aquifer. So we're only really worried about the outer perimeter of the triangle. We're going to make it so it's not aquifer and then just get rid of the middle area. What to do is for 2Z levels, which is why we have an unlimited water, we have an unlimited power system over here generating power for us to run the screw pumps so we can make sure to go through and take out the aquifer's outer lining so we can remove the cream filling. Yeah, so to be fair, I myself only became aware of this or informed of the actual command today. But, and I'll explain what this does. And I can even do it myself live. We'll do it live. There is a DF hack command recently introduced called clean const, like clean construction, but one word and const. And what that does is regular Dwarf Fortress, just Dwarf Fortress being Dwarf Fortress. Whenever you construct things, you're telling it to keep track of the same thing twice because of the weird way the game does calculations. So right now, if you look in my stocks, I have a bookkeeper, so I have the numbers. The numbers on the left are what I have access to, and the numbers on the right are what have been used. I have built 176 coffins, and all 176 coffins have been used. If we look at logs, I have access to 398, but 361 logs have been used. Most of them have been used creating walls and shit. So right now, the game keeps track of the fact that there is a wall at X, Y, and Z, this number, and it's made of wood. It has to calculate that. But individually for this tile, the game is keeping track of the fact that there is a piece of wood here, oddly enough. It doesn't necessarily need to be doing this. It doesn't do this for dirt, and it doesn't do that for stone. You don't calculate every bit of stone in the map before you mine it. So clean const takes that wall, which is already treated as terrain by the game. Walls don't burn. Wooden wall can hold lava, if you didn't know that. So what clean const does is it takes all of the calculations of the wood in the walls and deletes them. So it doesn't have to keep track of that. And because at that point it's terrain, when you get rid of it, it just gives you the wood anyways. It's already keeping track of the material for it. So there's no real reason for it to be keeping track of the wood that is there. So again, just to prove this, go back to logs. There are other things this works on, but log says we have used up 361. So I'm going to clean const. It says it deleted 161 construction items. And if we go back to, well, we'll let this process for a sec. And if we go back to stocks and go to logs, we see we're down to 201. That's probably workshops and the like, because it's not constructions. It's important to know what that is for workshops as opposed to constructions. So when you get into big constructions like I did for the Hanging Gardens or we're doing for Triforce, the first time I ran clean const, we removed from calculations, I think I closed the game so we're not going to see it anymore. We removed like 17,000 pieces of wood from calculation. And that freed up a little bit of frames per second. Now, once you get to the point where there's nothing graphically happening, as you see the frames per second, it starts going back up. We start going above 50, which means even with all the construction we have on the map, especially if I'm sitting here staring at the aquifer portion, the game is running at or above the speed it initially was running at. When I first was doing this, I had the max set at 50. So right now, despite everything we've done, the game is running faster than it did when I first ran it. It should be able to run at 60, so it is slower than max. But for actual calculations in gaming right now, the game is running at or above what it did when I first started a brand new map here. So between slightly increasing the max and the fact that we clean const that bitch, This is working fantastically. Why are some of these suspended? Do you hate me? You can tell me the truth. Shut up. Removes Ronius. That's legit neat, right? By the way, Tovarish Daft. I'm always going to throw this out to blow people's minds. Because this is in the game. Or this is in DF Hack. But it doesn't tell you this. Or it doesn't announce it. This should be page 1. I'm going to go hold Control. I'm going to hold Alt. Oh, I don't want to interrupt this. The noise. Thank you, Tovarish Daft, for following.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for following. I'm gonna hold Control. I'm gonna hold Alt. I'm gonna hit S. DF Hack introduces the ability to quick save whenever you want. I don't know why they don't start with that. Literally, I would always download DF Hack if that was the only thing it did. I would do that. I don't have to quit the game to save. And I'm not stuck to it being seasonal. I can just save whenever I want. I don't know why that's not just advertised. Point blank number 1. You like playing this? Look at this. You save whenever you want. You're happy. It should tell you this. Thank you for being a strategist, BT Dubs. He tried to turn to jazz hands. So Coca-Cola is calling me out. And I'm going to half call myself out. So to defend myself. I'm going to college right now. I'm a veteran. I used to be a soldier. And I used to be manly. I was nerdy manly, but I was manly. The longer I'm going to college, particularly when there's a semester going, because of all these college kids, they make me do air quotes. They do air quotes, so I do air quotes. And it gets worse whenever I'm in a semester. And I'm only like a week in, and I'm already air quoting everything. Everything gets the bunny ears. I don't know why. It infects my brain. Assimilation. One of us. One of us. Air quote, air quote, air quotes.
Sir, I hate saying no to you, but no.
Sir, I hate saying no to you, but no. We even did it in programming class. Sometimes when people would mention the quotes that would be required, we actually did them. We'd be like, oh, did you use these quotes or these quotes? Which quote did you use? We air quoted in programming class. Should be your next emoji. So here's the thing. I have so many things that need to be a proper emoji. I legit don't know what I want as an emoji. Because the problem is I'm going to have to pay for that shit. And if I pay for an emoji that ends up not being a good one, I'm going to have issues. I'm going to have some issues. And I might cry. Why is this one not getting turned?
Yes, I'll do it, but no, it won't work.
There's not an item blocking site though. Is this item? It's because it's tasked. We have to wait for the dude to take the wood away. Make some free ones on the Frankenface or BTTV. I can't. Anyone saying okay boomer to you yet? No. No. Mostly because I'm not one. No. The school I go to is very aggressive towards... I want to word this correctly. Whenever you talk about colleges nowadays, everything sounds political. I'm not in any way trying to be political or defame. I'm mentioning how they act at school. It's a state college, so everything is extreme left. So because I'm a veteran, I am Antichrist. So more often than not, I am treated as if I'm evil. Not treated as a boomer, so much as I'm treated as an evil from before the dawn of time. For what horrendous type person would dare sell his soul for a few years so that he may go to college and get paid. What asshat would sit in a computer van looking at incoming missiles and shoot those missiles out of the air to possibly stop them killing civilians? What asshole, I say. You point out you're a veteran, there are some people that immediately assume that you're a freaking door-kicking infantryman who goes around murdering babies. We have medics. We have lawyers. Most of the military doesn't even come close to engaging the enemy. Admittedly, I was combat arms, which meant that I was in a position to shoot at the enemy. But not with guns, not with gun pew-pews. I sat in nerdy van thing, and I fucking watched galactoid triangles flying around. And then if they were bad, I would shoot a missile and blow them up. But I never blew up anybody. I only blew up missiles, because we don't really blow up planes anymore. We just leave the Air Force to do that shit. That's their Zargothrax. Perfect response, people, in this case is in the vein of okay boomers, okay communists. So here's the thing. I have made some jokes like that before, just because some of them are extreme. Like, some of them actually hand out communist paraphernalia at the school saying, please join us. Please join the communists. And I'm just like, what? Whoever's grabbing this isn't grabbing this, and it's annoying me. So I'm gonna forbid it and unforbid it. See if someone else tries to grab it. Or unsuspend this. I don't know. Again, he's Zargothrax. I was in the Navy, but never remote. That's my point. I don't know why everyone just assumes you're like, Army. Oh, you were clearly in fucking Nam gunning down women and children in tents. Like, what? The fuck are you talking about? I spent a third of my Army career vacationing basically in Hawaii. Why did I say Hawaii? In Japan. No, in Okinawa, which is Japan's Hawaii. That was my thought. In Japan's Hawaii. I would sit there, and whenever North Korea would start acting like they were going to shoot missiles, I would do 24-hour operations, and I would wait for North Korea to shoot a missile, and if I thought it was close to me, I would be ready to shoot it out of the air. Other than that, I just did training to make sure I was ready to shoot shit out of the air. I did that for a full 2 years. Does that sound like I'm going around murdering babies? Kauai, Hawaii. It was the Kauai, Hawaii. And you know what I did? You know what I did when I, wasn't like actively engaged? Like when essentially my work day was over, my 8 to 5 essentially work day. Me and my friends would go to the nearby place called American Village, which is where the locals have like a little arcade / food hut store thingy. Like it's rather large mall complex type of thing, where they literally just try to give you whatever the hell you think would be awesome because they want your soldier money. That shit was amazing. You could go to a ramen bar. You could go to a fucking ramen bar like you're in damn Naruto. Go to a ramen bar. Then you leave that place, you go across the street to this other thing, you go past the parking lot, you go in there, and they've just got this fucking ice cream place. Just Bluebell ice cream. Fucking with crazy flavors, and that shit was amazing. And then you would leave that place, and you go to this big place in the middle that was a Sega arcade, and you would just blow like $50, $60 at this arcade place. But it has like games that you never see in America. Some of these are like the craziest things, like fucking legit Yu-Gi-Oh fucking bonkers nonsense. There's this game, and you have to like load up your deck, and you put cards on the field, and it keeps track of the stars. You can only have so many like generals on there. But like, there's a mirror that sees where your card is, and it takes the card and reflects what it knows that card is into the mirror, so you holographically see your army on this battlefield, but like you can reach through and see your hand, and you move the army around using your hands, but you're seeing like this weird holographic thing in the mirror fucking as you do this, and like the top of the card's the actual front, so you can flank the enemies. And certain cards, or all the cards, have abilities. So like if you would have like cavalry, you'd have cavaliers, and you'd push it, and the game would register to push, and it'd make the cavalry do a charge, and they would do like a sudden burst, and they would attack whatever's in front of them, and then they get like a little like grayed out thing, like you have to update the card to where they are, or else they'd start walking back to where the card is. But then they also had like cards where they were all futuristic gunners, and you'd push it down and they start doing a freaking volley about 3 inches ahead of them, and you start calling in artillery strikes on shit. That shit was fucking amazing. But not in America. Not in America. I don't even think in fucking Europe. I don't think anywhere except fucking Japan. And you would do this versus a computer, another player in your arcade, or versus any player in Japan in any arcade. And BT Dubs, if you did the against Japan thing, you were getting your dick punched in, because you're playing against Japanese kids who have all day to do this and level up their cards, because your cards actually level up. The more you kill, the stronger they get. This was a fantastic game. It was an awesome fucking arcade. It was an awesome, great game. I feel like that game should be over in America, but it probably would never be. And yeah, no. I don't know what about me essentially playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Or, you know, some fucking crazy advanced card game, and then sitting in a freaking van training people to shoot at freaking little pizza slices. You fucking, some of these people are like, oh, I'm a veteran. Baby murderer. What? What are you talking about? Not a baby murderer. And then they try to hand you a pamphlet that says, join our communist group. It's like, no, I'm here to get a freaking degree and get out. Please leave me alone. Or worse yet, someone asks you for a favor, and it turns out that that's politics too. College has a lot of politics in it for some reason. I don't know why. You're just there to get a degree. You're just there to get a degree. And they're fucking, these kids, these little babies are so fucking hung up on like everything is crazy. Not all of them, mind you. Like I'm giving you like a horror story-esque description of it. We'll say like less than 10% are that way, but it's like the vocal minority whenever you see things complaining about on the internet or the games. It's a small collection of them, but man, are they persistent. There's a dude who comes by about once a semester into the big open area in the middle of the campus, and he's like a pastor or he's religious or something. And he basically just tells us we're all gonna go to hell because we haven't taken Jesus into our heart. He just screams it at people. He's allowed to do it because it's a public campus and it's public space in the public campus. As long as he's not actively like chasing down people and harassing them, he's allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants. So this dude just sits there and he just screams that you're going to hell. And then when you go past him and you go into the building, you go through the sliding doors, there's a dude there with a pamphlet. Basically like, join the communists. Fucking, we got a meeting 2 o'clock this afternoon. Trump's gonna kill the babies. It's like, why are you talking to me? What? I am clearly running at a brisk pace to like stop being told I'm going to hell by the religious dude outside. Why, as soon as I get in the door, are you now telling me that I need to become a communist? I just want to go to the dining hall so I can eat a Whopper. There are healthier choices, but I just had a religious dude tell me I'm going to hell, and then a communist dude tell me I need to join communism, or else I'm a fascist. I just want a burger. Can I eat my burger in peace? It's a fantastic job. Don't get me wrong. It's a fantastically awesome job, and I have done things in that job that I would not normally have been able to do in my life. Like it's a slight joke / curse that I don't understand what the point of a bucket list is, because I basically set myself up a bunch of bucket list items and I accomplished most of them. Thank you, Army. It's now done. I don't know. But yeah, no, I mean, in terms of locations, thanks to the Army, I've now spent 2 years in Japan, month or so? Month and a half in Israel. I have spent a few weeks, a few days altogether in Britain. I've been in Jordan in the Middle East. I have also shot down a cruise missile. I am the first person to have done something. Like, I'm saying that as like what the bucket list thing is. Like, be historical sort of a thing. I am the first person to successfully shoot down a cruise missile over water. Which sounds like a weird way of being like, oh, so you're the second person to do something. Cruise missile is a cruise missile that's really low to the ground and travels parallel to it, making it hard to detect with a radar. Water, particularly if you're over an ocean, does a thing where it refracts. It's hard to see where shit is. It's really hard to detect and figure out where things are. So, saying first person shoot a cruise missile down over water would not be like saying the second person to hop out of, second person step on the moon, or the first person step on the moon while dancing. It'd be like saying the first person step on the moon without a glove on. Like, you are hindered. You are the first person to do so in a hindered state. And I really don't think you're going to find a harder situation to hit a cruise missile than over an ocean with ducting. Anywhere else is going to be a lot easier to see where the hell that damn bastard is. So I've technically been the first to do something. Can't be taken. I've been to Japan. I've been to the Middle East. I've been in Europe. I have met with people and hung out with people and flirted with people and done things with people from around the world. I have broken bread with Dr. Shakshuka. The Army's fucking amazing. But does not mean that I murder babies. It is an amazing job. It does not mean that I murder babies, though. And either it is the time, or there are a lot of people who don't want to hear about how I don't murder babies, but like we lost 3 people during all of that. I'm just saying, even if you aren't political, you mention you're a veteran and people get angry.
What are we doing wrong?
Why am I not digging? Dr. Shakshuka. I think I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I suck at those things. Yeah. Dr. Shakshuka in Tel Aviv restaurant photos. The dude used to be a cook for like the Queen of England. And I have pictures. I'm not going to bring up the pictures right now because I don't know where they are. But I have not just like eaten at the man's restaurant, but I made friends with the man and we have broken bread. So like shit that you're never going to get to do, I've done in the military. And now at this point, it's just, I don't know, be successful. That's what I have remaining. Find things and go be successful at them, okay? As nerdy as I am. But yeah, no. Half got like I don't think I'd consider that a full rant, but did a half side rant thing there. Kind of half part of the point of that is there are things in the military that are not infantry. The idea that some people are so against the military is baffling to me. If for nothing else, then you can join the military with as little as, I think you can get away with a 2, but to be safe, I'll say 3, with as little as a 3-year contract and have them pay for your college. In those 3 years, you can get some of the most mundane, nonsensical job. You can literally be an administrative paper pusher for 3 years. It's essentially the equivalent of working. Just because if you work in the office, you have a regular work day. Or I worked as a paralegal in Japan for about 5 to 6 months. I worked as a paralegal because I've done fucking everything. You just have a regular work day. You might as well just be working in an office. You have the early, you have to wake up early to do the PT, but the work would be it's basically 8 to 5. I think we did 8 to 4. We had a weird fucking one. But it was basically regular working hours. Do that for 2-3 years, get out, go to college, and it's paid for. But people, particularly in college, just assume that you kill babies and shit. I don't know. There are a lot simpler and lazier things to do in the military than to be in a war zone. There are people that have gone in and out and never even so much as been deployed. It's not required. You don't have to be excellent. You really don't. Especially college benefits and like, you just have to go in and not get in trouble. You can be the most boringest, head down, don't look at me, I am not exceptional person, and literally skate by just being a regular meh person for 2 or 3 years and have them pay for college. If nothing else, mind you, the whole time you're getting paid. Like, you get paid while you're in the military. You get free dental, free insurance, or not free insurance. You get free dental, free medical. That's what I meant. Free medical, housing, food. All your bills are paid. You get paid, depending upon your rank, a couple thousand a month. And then at the end of it, for 3 years of doing a regular job where all your bills are paid and you're paid a couple thousand a month, then you also get all your college paid for. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't understand why we keep constantly hearing about, at least for America, about issues with people paying for college. Go into the military and it will pay your college. If you go to college, you can go into the military and instead of getting them to pay for your college, you can get them to just pay off your college. Join the military. Do some freaking standard, weak fucking baby, don't have to risk your life or anything job, and you're good. You're just good. If you want to be more adventurous, you can get a more awesome life, though. Oh, Brookins. Yeah, no, there are some low. Like I said, Brookins, he at the time, it was off a GT, so he had to have gotten a high GT test. He wasn't dumb. He was just uncomfortably thick. But yeah, no, people act like it's some fucking crazy thing, and it's really not. I'm not saying there's not a negative. I mean, for 2 or 3 years, you're giving up. Identity is the wrong word. You're giving up privacy. You are giving up. You are giving up a sense of self. That might be too much for a few years for people to warrant giving up. That's fine. But you don't have to. You don't have to be someone who's going around shooting people. Like I said, you can go and just be a fucking paralegal. I'm trying to think of a more boring job. You can be a cook. You can literally just go in and just do some random ass. Basically, you could just go in and do whatever job you want to be doing in real world, like in non-military that requires a resume. You just go into the military and probably do that exact same job. And now you have experience, and then they pay for you to get to the degree. Now you have degree and experience, and then you go work job in civilian life. Like I said, they got doctors, they got medics, they got freaking lawyers, they got people who paperwork, administrative assistance. It's really not all about killing. But a lot of people tend to think it is. Do, 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 do. So where were we? Slowly getting through this aquifer. That's where we were. Huzzah, look at the great progress we've made. We're like a third the way down a wall. Luckily, we still have 2 hours. So if it's taken us, I started at what, 4? I started 4, 5, 6. 6 hours to do a third. 2 more hours, I can maybe, let's say that's a fourth. I can maybe bring it to a third, which means, or maybe even closer to a half. So we'll say today, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more streams we'll have gone through. 1 sea level. I should not have channeled that yet. Oh, I did bad. Whatever, we'll make it work. Screw pump from the west. By the way, if any of you are new to the stream or tuning in late or whatever, you feel free to ask me Dwarf Fortress questions. I mean, clearly I'll just answer basically about anything. I couldn't even really do an ask me anything thread for anything. No one will buy the horse if they get the milk for free. People don't get milk from horses. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You get my point though. People won't buy the horse. But yeah, no, feel free. Like if you are trying to do Dwarf Fortress and you don't know what's going on, feel free to ask questions. I answer Dwarf Fortress questions too, I swear. If you wish to have a conversation about Dwarf Fortress. I mean, I'm definitely not losing my sanity here. It'll make perfect sense. If any of you, however, do not wish to ask me a question, but would like a less rambly thing, over at RNG Strategist, I am starting the College of Dwarfology. I am doing the College of Dwarfology series, and I have a series of videos that are straight and to the point where I address a topic. I think the videos range between 10 and 30 minutes, but that's because some of them have topics that really need to be addressed altogether. You can't really talk about certain things without what interacts with that thing, for instance. So 1 or 2 of them are 30, 1 was 20, and I think 1 is 10. 4 or 5 chapters out right now in the College of Dwarfology. Uh-oh. Where is he? Gone. Gone forever. So this wall gets suspended? What's going on here? Because the olivine blocks have been forbidden? J. Hold on. Nobody's doing a block pile. It's olivine wood? Yeah, one of them's getting done. Who is doing that other one? Any tips on a Fortress 5 10 years without succumbing to FPS death? Short of that construction thing that we just discovered? Yeah, there's a couple actually. Particularly if you're using lazy, I mean, you don't need to be using it, but it makes certain things easier. Biggest number one thing that always leads to FPS death is population. There are 2 steps to population though. There is what you have and there is where what you have can be. You can always do a smaller map. This, at least 1 step smaller, has way more of an effect than a lot of people tend to think it will. For such a suggestion, your normal map size is a 4x4. Yes, is a 4x4 on the embark screen. If you think about that, that means you're embarking on a map the size of 16, the volume. If you merely reduce that to a 3x3, you're embarking on a map the size of 9. you've reduced almost 50% of the map that would have to be calculated. Because where a lot of people actually, a part where a lot of people really hit frames per second death is when they hit the cavern. Because the problem with the cavern is you have the whole overworld, right? Let's take the whole overworld and combine that into one. We'll say that is a one calculation. You can dig and shit when you go through, you know, lower levels and shit, but you're like, okay, so we have like the middle half, we have two middle halves, you know, you're just tunnel here, tunnel there. Overall, maybe throughout all your digging and tunneling, you brought your calculation to 2. As soon as you hit the cavern layer though, that's another big open map. You've now created the calculation to 3, but the top world and the cavern are 2 bigger units of 1 than you digging were. I'm talking about units in terms of pathfinding here, because the cavern layer and the surface world can have entities leave and exit from the sides, whereas normally you can't. So it creates some extra calculations, particularly if it's trying to see when wild creatures enter your base. That can cause some issues. The fact that it has to calculate those. So whenever a dwarf tick by tick is going somewhere, like we will babysit this one. I'm gonna hit the button to make it go forward 1 step. See how it kind of half jerks around, but it takes a while and then he steps 1 step. Now his actual speed is determined by his strength and what he's carrying, but every one of these steps he's having to calculate where is he going. He was going down and left, but then he went straight down. He could have gone down and then gone down and left. So every time he's getting closer, he needs to check to see if something changed. If something changes, he has to check these 3 squares and see which one's the closer square of his current path. And all your dwarves and all your entities are doing this all the time. And all the new entities you find, they're doing this all the time. And they're always calculating, and they're calculating, and they're calculating, and they're doing things. That's why if you look right here, there are actually 2 frames per second. The parentheses is the graphical, and the 30 and the one outside the parentheses is the calculation. Which we see listed here. Calculation frames and graphical frames. How many times per second is it going to calculate things? How many times per second is it going to actually update what's happening on the screen? The graphical cannot be faster than the calculation, but the calculation can leave graphical behind, as we see when I go down. Units, particularly lots of them, affect this so much more than anything else. There are a lot of things that lead to it. The constructions, if you do a lot of constructions, is one, particularly if you build a lot, rather like I do. Because as we went over, it's basically causing 2 calculations, and it's always calculating them all. So that can cause an issue. But purposely reducing the maximum amount of dwarves you can have can make the game easier and run smoother. And you combine this with reducing the size of the map, there's less calculations that can be done, the faster the thing just goes overall. Water and other things, they cause lag spikes, they can cause issues, but really it would take a lot to get that to happen. You know what I'm saying? It would take a lot to have a noticeable effect when you've already after you've already accounted for dwarves and the like. Those are what you need to be paying attention to. This also includes cats. This is why cats could cause cat explosions. Yeah, poor routing. Ramps, stairs, some oddities about tiles checked. Also, mushrooms try to grow everywhere, so all growing calculations increase. Yeah, things like that. For the ramp stairs system, it's because there's only a certain way to use a ramp. Ramps and stairs, while you would think they do the same, they do not do the same at all. This is a stair. This is up above is the stair connected to it. If we look up here, we have a stair connected to it. When I do the calculations, particularly if I'm finding multiple directions and I approach this stair, let's say I'm approaching from this way. I want to get there. If I get here, I go this one, this one, this one. All right, I get here. I calculate, I can enter that, or do I need to go this way, particularly if someone else is using the stairs? If you have stairs, a lot of people tend to be using them as a central access point. Once I'm on the stair, though, where do I have to go? I have one direction, maybe kind of easy, but we discussed there's slight issues between Z levels. Once I'm up here, I now need to calculate where I am and where I'm going. Around the stair, there are 8 points of access and 8 points of egress. On the lower stair, there are 8 points of access and 8 points of egress. On a ramp, at most, there is 5 points of access, 3 points of access, and then at most like 3 points of egress, because the ramp has to go against the wall. So a ramp, in order to work, you have to come from one direction, transfer through to the other direction. So a ramp has about half as much calculation per ramp as a stairwell does. Now, by itself, that doesn't sound like much, but if you think of the fact that every dwarf nearby or every entity is having half the amount of calculations it needs to do, then the more often that ramp or stair is used, the more units are using it, you're having a rather large number. But again, that boils down to an issue with the amount of units. Less units, less calculations in the long run. And also, you tend to have a lot less ramps and or stairs than you tend to have just sheer horizontal space. Do I personally use the pathing routing to set which areas dwarves should use? Under normal conditions, yes. Yes, I do. This particular base, what I did is I use a little bit of it, but nowhere near as much as I use in my circle bases. In that I tend to, especially the bedrooms. It is now summer and we must bid YouTube adieu.